Hey everybody, I'm Philip.
And I'm Justin.
And together we are Pajamas. And we are in the home stretch of season 4 of the main 13 episodes. Not all like the 75 million bonusy things afterwards, but of the core 13. We're in the home stretch. We're on episode 10. We just had a two-parter with where we met River, and it was definitely
was an interesting episode.
Yeah. Lots of building for the future in that one. Using the past, which we talked about in depth in that review. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out. Yes, episode 10, Great Unknown, big question mark. We don't know. Are you ready to know? All right.
So shiny and pretty.
Gravity restaurant with bibs.
That's a date. Well, not a date. Oh, you know what I mean. Oh, get on.
See you later.
And you be careful.
Did you notice that the receiver didn't have a cord attached to it? Hers, but yet his did?
That's a nice little touch.
With a link to 3D big games, complimentary earplugs, complimentary slippers, complimentary juice pack, and complimentary peanuts. Rare treat to the animation archive. 4 hours of fun time.
That is way too much going on. Holy smokes.
4 hours of just sitting here.
Tell you what, we'll have to talk to each other instead. And you were wearing a nose plug.
Oh, it was like this.
That poor kid.
She needed her own space, a different galaxy, in fact. I reckon that's enough space, don't you?
Oh.
What's this? Chicken or beef?
I think it's both. Man, it's fine. But it's a micropetrol engine, so stabilising doesn't really make sense, does it? Sorry, I'm the doctor, I'm very clever. Yeah, those windows are finito glass. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Go on. Live a little. What?
3 times. Did you hear that? He did it 3 times.
How are we? Everyone all right? Earthquake. Must be. Why is she doing that?
Why is she doing that?
She's gone mad.
She's gone mad. Stop it. Stop it.
I said stop
I
it.
said stop it.
Square root of pi is 1.7.
The square root of pi is
1.72452850905516029827816.
Doctor, now step back. I think you should leave her
alone. How can she do that? She's talking with you. And with me.
It's not even a delay.
Oh no.
That is weird.
I think you should all be very, very quiet. You know exactly what I'm going to say. How are you doing that?
Roast beef.
Rose Tyler, Martha Jones, Donna Noble, TARDIS.
Shamble, bobble, dibble, dooble. Oh, Doctor, you're so handsome. Yes, I am. Thank you.
If she repeats, then she catches up. What's the next stage?
Next stage of what?
It's not her, is it?
If she's copying us, then maybe the final stage is becoming us. I don't want her becoming me, or things could get a whole lot worse.
You're so special.
As it happens, yes, I am.
We should throw her out.
She killed Joe, and she killed Claude, and Winnie.
And if it's come inside to discover us, then what's it found? This little bunch of humans. What do you amount to? Murder?
I'd do it.
So would I.
Annie, I think we should.
What?
I want her out.
You can't say that. If you try to throw her out that door, you'll have to get past me first.
Okay.
Fine by me. Oh, now you're being stupid. Just think about it. Throw them out of that door.
Calling me a coward.
Who put you in charge anyway?
I'm sorry. I'm just travelling. I'm a traveller, that's all.
Like an immigrant.
Be said, you do seem to have a certain glee.
All right, I'm interested. Yes, I can't help it.
But how did you know what to do?
Because I'm clever!
I see. Well, that makes things clear.
And what are we then? Idiots.
Come on, just listen to yourself, please!
Do you mean we throw him out as well?
If we're gonna get out of this, then you need me!
So you keep saying you've been repeating yourself more than her.
She stopped.
What are you doing?
She's still doing him. She won't leave him alone. Do you see? I said so. She's with him.
So, what do you think?
Do we
Do we
have a deal?
Hold on. Did she?
She spoke first.
Look at that. I'm ahead of
Look
you.
at that. I'm ahead of you.
Help me,
Help me,
Professor.
Professor.
Get me away from him.
Get me away from him.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I wouldn't touch her.
But it's gone. She's clean. It passed into him.
That's not what happened.
Thank you for your opinion, Dee.
Now the only problem we've got is this doctor.
It's inside his head.
Because I saw it pass into him. I saw it with my own eyes.
So did I.
You didn't. Went from her to him.
You're an expert in mechanics and hydraulics when I can tell you, you are nothing more than average at best.
We should throw him
Don't
out.
just talk about it. Just do useless. Do something.
You watch me. I'm gonna throw him out.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it now.
Now!
Faster.
Faster!
Molto bene. Allons-y.
I want it.
Allons-y!
That's his voice.
Yep.
Starlight waits.
She's taken his voice.
I said it was her.
The hostess. What was her name?
I don't know.
Molto bene.
No, don't do that. Don't.
This was a very sobering episode.
Wow. Holy smokes. There is so much to unpack from this episode. Holy crap. Like, what an interesting case study in humanity and fear and panic and the hive mind. And
With so many instincts going on at once.
yeah, we saw what we now know as Karens in full effect. The irrational, loud yelling, because those things mean that you're right, apparently. This was a really cool episode. What a neat concept. An entity that.
Yes.
This was like another like horror-esque episode.
Yes. It involved something that somehow some sort of consciousness is able to evolve to be able to survive in those very harsh
Yeah.
environments. Showing that, well, not everything cannot be. It's only up until now we know that it hasn't been. But that doesn't necessarily mean cannot ever be.
Yeah, like the professor guy saying that.
Yes.
Nothing can live out here. It's this kind of sun.
Or things happening or not happening, but despite having a scientific mind, he cannot see what is in front of his eyes.
Exactly, yeah. That's another cool thing is that we had the layperson, we had the scientist, we had the doctor, we had, all these different kinds of views and personalities. But even then, no one could see what was going on. And that got to the point where it was so divisive that the people that started to see what was going on weren't being listened to because the Karens were being so loud and obnoxious. I wrote it in my notes in a better way, that there was no room for logic or reason because of emotion and panic.
And in situations like that, many people think, well, seems to be that many would prefer to feel safe than to be right.
Exactly, yeah. Even if safe isn't what it's cracked up to be.
Yes.
Like if they throw the doctor out
Yes.
and
It's going to then come after them.
well, not just that. If they throw the doctor out, and this guy makes it back to the pleasure palace or whatever. Oh,
Yes.
ooh. But back to what I was saying about the entity itself, like what a neat idea that it's locked inside Sky's body,
Mhm.
and then it can slowly move because it's adapting. And it was the voice of the doctor. I think it was the first voice that talked to her. Is one that I don't think she went after the doctor because she needed the doctor's voice because he's the doctor. I think that's just the doctor's arrogance, which was on full effect in this episode. But I think it was his voice because he was the first voice to actually speak to her, or it. And that's the voice it latched onto, but then started spreading like tentacles or tendrils to everyone else. But the main lock was on the doctor. Just uses everyone else's voice to get stronger and stronger until it was strong enough to lock onto the doctor and then steal his voice.
It was a sort of scientific explanation of possession.
Yeah,
They even
kinda.
used the word possession of something latching onto this other life form and then slowly taking over it.
Yeah. But yeah, then it just like starts repeating everyone. And also I have to say, the actress who played Sky,
Mhm.
great job.
Yes.
Really good job. Facial expressions and mannerisms and just like and like just cast for like they kept talking about her eyes because they were so piercing.
Yes.
You know, that piercing blue, but she looked like, you know, like really intense. And then also good job, not just from her, but from everyone with whoever did the cinematography and the storyboarding and whatever for this episode did a good job at framing what was happening. Because you'd have that group back here talking, and this guy would be like moving like this, talking to them, or talking with them rather. And then the moment when it was the doctor and her, it was framed like this. It was just the two of them with, we don't talk about it probably enough, but especially in this one, like all they had to work with was a train car. Well, a train car. So to do 45 minutes with that limited space.
The lighting really helped to draw the attention to where it needed to be.
And to change the environment. Because we're still in the same spot,
Yes.
but it feels different. It has a different tone. It was getting darker and darker and darker. You know, it was. And then.
Much more symbolizing going further and further into the unknown.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it could be.
And also that it's something that they cannot see.
I don't know how much rehearsal went into this. I would love to see a behind the scenes of this episode. Just how much prep went into having Sky have to talk at the same time as everyone else. Like she had to learn not just her lines, but their lines, which were her lines. That's freaking cool. So like major kudos.
Not only their words, but also the intonation.
Exactly. Yeah. And when to turn your head and when to, like, who's talking. Like she had, wow. Like just from a technical aspect, from the acting to the, you know, camera work to the lighting, just dang. You know, the actress that played Sky was the clear MVP of this episode. I was so mesmerized by what was going on because she was cast so well and was doing such a good job. And again, they did such a good job. And this is what I deal with when I edit, is drifting. The moment that she talked ahead of him, it's like, oh, I looked over at you. I was like, oh.
Yes,
She's ahead of him now.
It's surpassing its limits. Well, what was once its limits.
Yeah, it's evolving. Which when I edit the episodes, our audio will drift. That's what I was thinking in the back of my head. Like, this is like our audio. Like, this is so. And then it like completely switched where it locked him down and had freedom. But it had his voice. It was just, that's so fucking cool. It's so smart. Like, to take a cool horror element like this, put it in one setting for 45 minutes with a cast of like 10 people. And yeah, just hats off. I'm a huge fan of this one. Like there's been a lot of, again, I've said it before, I said in season 3, that there was a lot of hype into the back half of season 3, which paid off.
Yes, it's going to be difficult to know which episodes to give which medals.
Then season 4 has even more hype than season 3, from what I've read in comments and on Patreon and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, like the rest of the episodes are like this. Not like this episode, but like quality like this. And yeah, but yeah,
Storytelling like this.
yes. And to your point, yeah, Medal Ceremony is going to be interesting. This was just from a psychological to a sociological element. This was fascinating. Just to watch it break down and watch the most irrational get power.
Seeing their societal structure break down.
Yeah.
The micro form of it.
Yeah, exactly. Sadly, there was no manager for them to speak to. So yeah, just holy smokes. Like I feel like I'm not doing it justice, but it was just the base of like, everything that was there was so solid. It was just structured and carried out very well. Very, very well. Is there anything else that stuck out to you in the episode?
Well, the fact that the flight attendant didn't have a name.
Yes.
Which is also a very powerful point that many heroes and heroines don't all get trophies, awards, notoriety, or some sort of media coverage. Actually, the vast majority of them never do.
Yeah.
And go into history forgotten.
Yeah, I have it in my notes, but we can address it now. I wrote that the hostess sacrificed herself, but no one knew her name.
Yes.
And that's, like you said, that's so powerful.
Yes.
Like,
sometimes the people that do the most for people are actually the ones that are otherwise in the background and not someone who is famous.
and I thought it was a good way to cap off like the overall message of the episode. Like as irritating as they were being and as indignant as they were being and as irrational, as I've said, as they were being, you know, the rational person that sacrificed herself didn't even get the common courtesy of having her name known by anyone. And that's just like, wow. Yes, she was the hostess, but at the same time. So it's one of many really cool little things put in this episode that are very powerful. There's a lot in this one. Like, there's a lot. There's going to be stuff that I probably wish I would have touched on,
Yes.
you know, later on. Or if I'm reading comments from people, and they're like, "Oh, I like this part." I'm like, "Oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? Yeah, that was so cool too."
It shows that regardless of what someone is or who someone is, they can still play a major part in people's lives.
Mhm.
Don't underestimate yourselves.
You too could be a hostess on a train car.
Maybe.
Anything else that stuck out to you?
Well, I also appreciated it that they addressed diversity, and she said, ladies and gentlemen, and variations thereupon.
Yeah, I like that too.
So I did appreciate that also, that
Yeah.
she was as inclusive as she could be.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Shall we go to the notes?
Okay.
Philip's notes.
All right, so we set the stage. We're on a train car. Donna decides not to go. Smart of her. Can you imagine Donna in this situation? Because Donna's so prone to
Oh, yes.
empathy and emotional stuff. Like she wouldn't have been on team throw them out. She would have been like, this is wrong. She would have been the conscience as usual. But just to see her react to the doctor losing his voice would have been really, really interesting.
Yes. It was something that I suppose that actually the people couldn't have simply been lectured at. They had to experience it themselves to learn a valuable lesson from what occurred.
If they did. So yeah, cool that they just did their own thing, but also it would have been really, really like to what if Donna had went? It would have been pretty cool. So we're there with all these groups of people. They got the professor and his student, the doctor,
Unappreciated student.
the quiet lady, who I thought was like, if they were like really almost foreshadowing her in a way, because when she walked by the doctor, he was on the phone. He just looked at her, like he made a point to look at her, and they showed her getting on the train or whatever. I was like, are you like secretly the villain? Then the doctor would like look at her. So obviously, I don't think the doctor knew what was going to happen. But at first, I thought they were foreshadowing that he was on this particular mission, like usual, because he had, you know, there was an underlying reason. But that wasn't the case. But at first I thought there was.
Yes, he is clever, though he's
No, he
not
li-
a psychic.
Yeah, he li-
well, although he's a time traveler, so what exactly do I mean by psychic now?
Yeah. He made sure to let us know how clever he was. Verbally, many times this episode.
Yes.
Many times.
It's too bad, though, that they took that to mean the potential negative side of cleverness, which is sneakiness, deception, things like that.
Yeah.
A survival skill which this entity learned from being in this body.
Yeah.
Because, well, to an extent, survival does involve some sort of trickery of this or that, I'm afraid.
Then we have Mr. and Mrs. Karen and their son. So then we get in the beginning, they're like, sit with us. And he's like, no, I'm going to sit over here. And the dad says he doesn't want to sit with us, but he doesn't mind us paying for it. If you're that kind of parent, shut the fuck up.
Weren't you ever, at least for one day or two, some angsty teenager? Can you not sympathize that you know how this person's feeling, what this person's going through?
Let them experience struggling with their independence, struggling to figure out who they are. Like clearly they portrayed him as someone that was trying to be angsty and wearing all black and the fingernail polish. He was trying to
self-expression. He's trying to discover himself.
Exactly. If your child is doing that, don't be a dick. Your child doesn't have to be whatever you think they should be. Let them figure it out. And he doesn't mind us paying for it. You're their fucking parents. That's what you're supposed to do. Unless you're one of those like when they turn 18, get out of my house types, which also again, fuck off. They're not commodities. They're your kids. And if they stop being your kids when they turn 18, then maybe you aren't
maybe
the type to have kids in the first place.
Yes.
I just alienated more people. I don't want asshole parents coming at me with shit. It's just mean. Like, what? I've never gotten that mentality. Like, my family was always like, no matter how old you are, if you need somewhere to stay, if you need, there's a bed here, there's a door here. So for as
that's sweet.
Yeah. So for as tumultuous as my childhood was, my upbringing was, I at least had the security of knowing that A, I wasn't wrong for who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that from a very young age. And B, there was always a safety net. It wasn't like, oh, you're legal now. I don't have to support you more, get out of my house. I've never understood that. Like, you don't stop being a parent just because of a certain age. I don't mean to attack anybody or get ranty about it, but that line just pissed me off because I was like, of course you're going to pay for it. Like, it's your job. You're the parent. Don't guilt trip your kids because you do something you're supposed to. And let them figure themselves out. Moving on. I thought the very beginning when they had the music video on and then the light show and the cartoon, I was like, that is stimulus overload. Why would you do that?
Yes, I can imagine someone who doesn't suit well with overstimulation having a sort of meltdown.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have liked it either. As we start an episode, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, what's going on? What's the underlying thing here? What's the gist? And I thought maybe this was like hypnosis. All these things going on at once with some kind of like weird psychological, psychotic, and it would affect everyone but the doctor because he wasn't human.
It's basically what television does, or anything, any sort of video that's on a screen. It's hypnotic in that, yes, people can stay in the same position for an extremely long time.
Yeah.
And their attention is so focused on it that they don't realize how stiff they're getting.
That way the doctor making friends with everyone. He was talking to the couple, to the assistant, to the quiet lady, to the professor. Didn't talk to the angsty teenager, though. But maybe it was best not to.
And, well, if he doesn't want to talk, then respect him and don't talk to him.
Yeah, exactly. I forget what they were talking about, but then the parents say to the teenage son, they say to him, it's his imagination, here we go. Horrible parents. Horrible parents. The way the doctor's saying to them, go on, live a little. Like, he's the devil on your shoulder. He is. He's the temptation. But
what a beautiful sight it was.
That is true, yeah, it was. But then stuff starts happening. Everyone starts panicking. No one's listening to the facts. The doctor, quiet! We got all the, I'm so clever, I'm brilliant, be quiet. But I'm not going to say he wasn't right in doing it this time. But it was just funny. That was like, okay. Maybe Mr. Karen shouldn't have knocked on the door. It's like, if somebody's knocking on the outside, don't knock. Then you're telling it that something's inside. Stupid. It's his fault it came in.
That is a very interesting thing to note. Yes, they don't know what the nature of this thing, whatever it is out there, what are its intentions, if any.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it thinks that this is simply a big clump of metal, maybe it will become bored and leave it alone.
Mm-hmm. But nope, Mr. Karen had to knock. And then when it was like knocking like furiously and then banging on that one section, and Sky was over there, and she kept saying, "It's after me." And I'm like, had it already linked into her brain? Because otherwise I was thinking to myself, well, how do you know that?
Yes, when that happened, at first I thought, does she suffer from paranoia? Is she claustrophobic?
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if maybe she was having some sort of panic attack.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same. But now I'm thinking maybe it had latched on.
That somehow she mentally felt that intrusion.
And with her last words. Yeah. So maybe. And then we had a Rose sighting.
Yes, another one. Once in a while, I have seen this. I'm wondering, why is she here? Oh, she's not here. Here? Not here. Why does Goddess Rose keep on appearing and disappearing?
Goddess Rose.
Well, if she's able to go to the point of surpassing the universe, one should probably wonder.
Yeah. I don't believe the show anymore when it's like, these are the rules and these are the rules that can't be broken. Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. There's no finite law of anything really. And she was on the screen for a while this time. Yes. But they've been doing a good job of having her appear when the doctor isn't there, when he's not looking. So that was cool.
Yes, it looked like she was trying to warn him of something.
Oh yeah, that's what it's looked like for a while now. So, yeah, some kind of impending something. So I'm just hoping, because obviously she's coming back. I'm just hoping that when she does, it makes sense. The payoff is worth it, and then she goes away.
I keep on thinking Goddess Rose because she's going beyond space and time, and I'm wondering how in the world. Well, then again, you said there are no rules to this universe anymore.
Yeah. So then they open the door and the cabin's gone. Mm-hmm. That was crazy. They have 6 seconds before the air pressure sucks them out. My favorite part, I think, of the whole mimicking back and forth was when they did Pi. It was so good. Like, I can't say enough good things about the actress, the writing, the acting, and how they did it. That was phenomenal. That was so well done. Even with them, talking with them, actress doing a good job. Because this is when they were in the back in the group. The doctor was there with her, looking at her. Then they were like, no. She's like, no. She was just, it was so good. And then the doctor is trying to rationalize with them. And I love this next scene too. This next like block of like 5 to 10 minutes. When it was like reason and panic were just like, he's like, imagine you're a new life form. You discover humans. This is where you find out who you are.
That's a powerful quote.
Yeah. Is there humanity or are you murderers? At the same time, there's
a difference.
In this instance, yeah. Are you gonna be like, you're gonna be like kind and.
Well, yes, I know that, but what I mean is that sometimes the two are actually synonymous. Depends upon the situation of fear, panic, the instinct to want to know, and also the instinct for survival, the instinct to avoid pain, the instinct towards pleasure. There's so many things going on inside at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in this instance, the doctor wants them to be like, hey, stop, think. How do you want to present yourself as the human race that this thing is discovering? But at the same time, there's this unknown organism, entity, thing that is not only infiltrated, is not only mimicking, not only, doing all this, it's doing it in a very nefarious way It wasn't being like, I come in peace. It was like, I'm coming to infiltrate and, take over, infest. Like that virus, like that illness. And so it's such an interesting, like, it's not black and white here, where in here does the truth lie? And the question is, we won't know because of how it happened, but which side is the side that errs on caution? Or being cautious by being open-minded, or being cautious by being survival instinct? It's really just fascinating to think about.
One could argue both ways.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is actually how this episode turned out.
Mm-hmm. And then I love the doctor's bravado and, like, I'm in charge and you do what I say and I have to be Mr. King of the moment and all this stuff. And he says, you have to get past me first. Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
I
he
have waited
really shouldn't have said that, but he did.
Yes, I loved it. I love the doctor just being overthrown.
And he put himself in that position.
Yeah, because he's so arrogant and cocky. I'm not saying there's a negative thing. It's just how he is. He takes control of situations. He's the cleverest, and he wants to figure it out and solve the problem. And it's fascinating. And he wanted to.
Well, there are both benefits and liabilities to that.
And they even said, you're enjoying this. And then that's when the panic and all that stuff just escalated, because they were like making connections that didn't make any sense, but they were, from their skewed view. And it was just like cool to see the doctor out of his element, not in control. In a situation that was escalating far beyond his control. And how it was all going down, like, no matter how clever or smart or brilliant you think you are, nothing can withstand an army, even a small one of like 6 people, a small 6-person army of angry Karens. Run. Then like, who are you? What's your name? And I'm like, oh, like, they were really like, who are you? What's your name? Tell us who you are. He says, I'm just a traveler. The one says, an immigrant. And then you made a face. We're just like,
yes, I was wondering. Oh, now it's making references to xenophobia.
Exactly, yeah. It's very much a nice little
a social commentary of the current situation when this episode was made.
Current situation now.
Yes.
Especially now in America, the way things are right now. Yeah. But yeah, they were calling the doctor out on who he is. The panic was directed towards the doctor. Like, how did you know what to do? I'm clever. That's not the right answer for that situation, sir. And I know it's a get out of jail free card, but not in that situation. Not with an army, a 6-person army of angry Karens. Then we had this hive mind of fear. They were like, well, because they were trying to, they wanted to throw Sky out. He's like, no, no, we can't. It's murder. We can't do that. Then they were like, we'll throw him out as well. I was like, oh, well, you did. Yeah. Like, it was just cool to see the situation escalate beyond the doctor's bravado and just, controlling nature. Because he usually can control a situation just by raising his voice and everyone listens. But this time, nah, because they were so panicked, so fearful. And it was refreshing to see, like, a more realistic approach to a situation. They're scared. They're panicking. Something's crazy and scary is going on. They're not going to listen to you just because you're saying, be quiet and do as I say.
Yes.
That is arrogant, and I liked that, he was kind of put in his place. And it got scary. He was almost thrown out of that train car.
While trying to argue that, well, if they do go about doing this, it could escalate into an even more serious problem. Because, well, murder, that's only the beginning. It could escalate into something else.
Well, not just that. If they throw him out, this entity has won this round. It's not over. It's just going to take over somebody else.
That is true. And eventually, then there will be nobody.
Exactly.
Except for one that will then go back to the base and then spread.
Yep.
Because it has already shown that it can travel through the walls.
And then I like that it went from, there's a train coming, yeah. Then it went from talking like everyone to just talking like the doctor. That was cool.
Yes.
That was cool. And then it's been passed on to the doctor, and he was repeating her, because we talked, had that drift, which was well done. And then she was saying it first, and then he was saying it, repeating her. But he was essentially, the doctor was repeating her, repeating him, being him, repeating her as him. And then we had that struggle between the research assistant and everyone else. You know, when she's trying to be like, that's not what happened. When they're like, oh, it passed from her to him. She's like, that's not what happened. And then they're just like, be quiet. She's free. You don't know that.
That is true. It's at best conjecture what's
Exactly,
happening. They
yeah.
didn't see anything happen.
Just because you read a situation a certain way does not mean you're right. Karen.
It also shows that two people can experience the same experience and have different explanations, interpretations of what happened.
Well, just like not even a few minutes later, main Karen says, it moved to him. I saw it. Didn't you? No one's, no, that was...
I didn't see some sort of aura
Yeah.
move from this and then move to somebody else.
Yeah, that was... As far as portraying that kind of mindset, that entitled, mean, irrational mindset, they did a good job. The actors also did a good job there. We had that whole, like, I saw it. You didn't, though. You didn't. And trying to convince everyone else, and, you know, even the son being like, and then, like, if you don't agree with me, like, don't be silly, don't be stupid, you know, you all saw it. She didn't say that, but it was that kind of thing, like, you know,
Yes.
I'm saying this is fact, so you have to agree with me. You have to agree with my irrational opinion of what happened, that I'm pretending is fact. Well written, really, really well written. It's just so accurate. Like, how many of us can say that we've seen that happen in real life? Not just like in real life, but like, you know, on Twitter or on some kind of video, viral video or something, where we see someone acting like an absolute entitled douchebag, and then do these mental gymnastics to try and stick the landing of whatever bullshit they're trying to convince themselves and everyone else around them is fact when it's not. It's just your own skewed view of things. And yeah, moving on. And then I like when the entity had taken the doctor's voice when it was saying like the words in, I think it was Italian, Montebella.
Yes, I think so.
And that was Alonzi. It's like, it has the doc, it's got the doctor's words now.
Yes.
Oh, so good. And then we have the sacrifice from the hostess. After it was over, I wrote, and now it's time to reflect on what they became and what they almost did. Because when the hostess sacrificed herself to take the entity out, everything went back to normal. And it'd be like sobering. It'd be like, oh,
Yes.
we almost did commit murder. Yeah,
Self-realization of what kind of people they are.
exactly, yeah. And then main Karen says, I said it was her.
You said many things.
And that was not one of them. The psychology of a Karen is so fascinating to me. Like, to have to be right to the point of being indignant, to throwing tantrums like a child, and then when situations don't work out or you are proven wrong, you have to convince yourself that you're still right. Like, it's such a, like, something's broken with the ego and the brain as far as the connection, having to be right, throwing tantrums, not using, like, rationality, thinking irrationality is rationality, thinking that the way you see things is right, thinking that you have to be right, and then when you're proven wrong, convincing yourself that you're right. If you are wrong, and you can't admit you're wrong, and you have to convince yourself that you're right anyway, like, that's messed up. That's not normal brainwave activity stuff, you know? And that is all for my notes, my 3 pages of notes. Everything else are for my patrons over on Patreon. Yeah.
It was a wonderful episode.
It really was, yeah. So much here. Like, this is another one you could show to, you know, a psychology class or a sociology class and have them write a paper on it, on the dynamics of the group. That'd be so fun to read all the responses from a classroom.
Yes.
On this one. Or, like, give each person in the class a person. You're Sky. You're the main Karen. You're Mr. Karen. You're the son. You're the research assistant. You're the professor. You're the hostess. You're the doctor. You're the mechanic. You're the driver. Now I want you to write a paper from everyone's point of view. It'd be cool to read. It would be really, really cool to read. This is one of those where like I'm so fascinated by the human mind and the way it works and all that stuff and personalities and projections and all of that. And yeah, a very cool character study on a lot of levels. Rationality versus irrationality. You know, the infancy of Karens before they were termed as such. I'm sure I'll have some angry Karens in the comments.
I have wondered if that name keeps on having that association, if there's going to be a population drop in people naming their children Karen.
Maybe, I don't know. This is very, very good. Very, very good. And yeah, hopefully the rest of the season is just as strong. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No.
Okay. Well, it's going to wrap this one up. Hopefully there's nothing I left out or something we didn't talk about. I think we covered it pretty well.
I think so.
As always, I don't have a fancy outro, so I'll simply say thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.